Three women stood at the top of the staircase, smiling as they waved him closer. "Come on up," one of them said. But as he climbed those steps, every eye in the room burned with judgment, because none of them knew the truth about the man they were mocking. What happened next silenced the entire crowd. Before we start today's story, leave a comment below and let us know which city you're watching from. And at the end, don't forget to rate it from 0 to 10. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. He had barely placed his hand on the railing when the laughter struck him like a blow. A ripple of whispers, a snicker, a voice that cut sharp across the room. "Look at him, limping like an old man. Bet he's looking for pity." The three women at the top of the staircase motioned him forward. Their invitation seemed kind, but the audience around them turned it into a cruel spectacle. Each step he took felt heavier than the last, not from weakness, but from the weight of unseen eyes judging what they could never understand. His name was Daniel. Years earlier, he had walked the deserts of a distant land, carrying more than just a rifle. He carried promises to protect, to stand, to return home. He had returned, yes, but not unscarred. The sandstorms of war still lived in his lungs, and his right leg bore the memory of shrapnel that tore through flesh and bone. He had rebuilt himself quietly, step by step, never asking for sympathy, only seeking a place where silence could be peace instead of exile. Tonight, that silence was pierced. The women, unaware, or perhaps uncaring, made him the subject of their performance. "Come join us," one teased, her voice wrapped in irony. The others giggled, their glances darting to the crowd below. He was being tested, humiliated in public, his dignity dangled as entertainment. Around him, the room offered no defense, only the complicit quiet of those too timid to challenge cruelty. Daniel did not answer. His silence became his shield. With each slow step, the wooden stair groaned beneath his weight, yet he kept his gaze steady. He neither fought nor fled. He simply endured. "Why doesn't he say something?" someone whispered behind him. Another voice replied, "Because he can't. Look at him, he's broken." But Daniel's silence spoke louder than any outburst could. Inside, he remembered the desert nights when silence was survival, when even a breath too loud could betray a whole unit. He remembered faces, friends who never came home. He remembered one soldier, 19 years old, who looked at Daniel in his final moments and whispered, "Don't let them laugh at us." That promise lived in his bones, stronger than any scar. As he reached the final step, something shifted. From the back of the hall, a man in uniform rose to his feet. Then another, then another. Their silence mirrored Daniel's, but it carried weight. Veterans who had once bled beside him, some strangers, some brothers in arms, stood in unspoken solidarity. The women's laughter cracked, faltered, and died. The room, once eager to mock, now drowned in silence so heavy it demanded respect. Daniel turned, his voice finally breaking the stillness. Not loud, not angry, but steady as stone. "I am not broken. I am living proof that sacrifice leaves marks. These scars are not weakness, they are honor." A hush blanketed the hall. Some lowered their heads, others blinked back tears they hadn't expected. One of the women whispered, almost to herself, "We didn't know." But ignorance was no excuse. Daniel's words lingered, betraying beyond the room. Silence is not weakness, it is strength held steady. Scars are not shame, they are stories of survival. The veterans saluted. The crowd followed with a standing silence, not applause, not cheers, but something deeper, respect. In that moment, Daniel's quiet defiance became victory. He had not fought back with rage or insult, but with the unshakable power of dignity. And as he walked back down the stairs, the weight was no longer heavy. He carried the strength of every silent hero who had ever been mocked, dismissed, or forgotten, yet stood tall anyway. Respect should never come after shame. It should walk beside us, given freely to those who have carried burdens we cannot see. Tonight's story is a reminder. Sometimes the strongest voices are the ones that do not shout. Wherever you're watching from, share your thoughts below. Have you ever witnessed dignity stand taller than disrespect? Let us know, and if stories like this move you, subscribe for more tales that honor silent strength and unseen battles.